The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. Tracy Thompson here. And today I have the privilege of interviewing Quentin Rankin. Say hi, Quentin.
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Quentin, just for everyone else's sake here, Quentin started Swept Cleaning Residential in April 2018. So fairly recently in Washington, D.C., United States of America. And Quentin says we help busy families and individuals get back their free time and by providing service that caters to their wants and needs. And how awesome is that? So, Quentin, I'd love to hear just a quick backstory of, since you're relatively new, right? How you started. Tell me a little bit about your origin story.
If I was to go all the way back, it would be when I was a contractor for TaskRabbit. Don't know if anybody's heard of that, but it's a platform where you offer different services. So I was a handyman, cleaner, I did moving services. So I offered a lot of things. And what I noticed was that I had a big response to cleaning. And I got a lot of feedback from people like, hey, you do a great job. So I saw the reviews were more than all the other categories. So that's my humble beginnings. So when I started to have conversations with clients and, ask them, what's different? What am I doing different that, other companies or contractors are not doing? It is like, they're not getting the service that I'm providing. And I didn't know at the time until I actually came into Grow My Cleaning Company, that type of niche or what I was niching or what I was doing. So I got super laser targeted on what that person is looking for and how to cater to it. So I got a big response to cleaning from TaskRabbit. That's how it began.
Awesome. So speaking of when you came into our world, what is it that was that turning point? What was that moment where you said, maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I need to do something more. What was that for you, that turning point?
So I can't say if it's a turning point, but I was always looking for ways to improve the company. At that time, the biggest person that I heard of was Debbie Sardone. So I've always looked for coaches to try to better my service and better my skills to provide a service that's different in the market. And then I ran I don't know how I ran into Mike or Grow My Cleaning Company, but it just came across as interesting.
Cool.
So to keep it simple, I'm always looking for coaching to improve my company and myself.
And just for context, where were you in terms of your evolution as a business owner? Like at what level were you when you came to us originally? Like size wise, just kind of give us a snapshot of where you were.
So size wise, well, let's take it back a little bit. So I was doing commercial and residential, both at the same time. The company at that time was bringing in about a revenue of, I could say about 10,000 a month. And this is something I was doing all by myself. I had some employees, but it was on and off. It wasn't consistent. Yeah.
Perfect. And when you were now, I'm assuming you're focused because I work with you. So I kind of have inside baseball here. So I'm cheating a little bit. But for everybody else's sake, you're focused on residential now, right?
Yeah, focus on residential.
What was that shift like for you? Why did you choose to niche completely and choose the single model versus trying to do both?
Well, I noticed that it would have to be a mindset shift first. So, in order for me to focus on two different markets, on two different set of people, that means I wasn't going to be focused at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I had to make a choice. And at that time, residential was big for me. And that's where I started anyways. And I just took commercial for extra cash flow. Yeah.
And that's, you know what, Quentin, that's really important because I believe there's a lot of business owners out there, a lot of cleaning company owners that when they start, they kind of subscribe to the, hey, I'll take whatever business I can get kind of strategy, if you will, or lack of strategy. I don't know. It's like the idea that, hey, if someone's going to give me business, I'll take it. But at some point, I think all of the business owners like yourself that come to us realize that just what you said is true. Just what you said. If you're trying to ride two horses, or God forbid, more than that, while you're launching your business, it is almost impossible for you to give your full attention and your full focus to any one of those areas, right? And
all right.
And your scattered energy just doesn't take you where you want to go. So once you chose residential, how did that help you focus? What was that like? And what's it been like for you focused on just residential since you've done that?
Since I've been focused on residential, that my offerings became more focused on the client, and getting into what they want instead of what I want as a company. Because to be honest, when I had residential at the time, like you said, I was taking whatever business under the sun, whether it was move-in, new constructions, sometimes college students. And what I noticed that it just wasn't a fit for me. And I noticed early on that I needed to do something different. And I learned very quickly that, okay, move-ins, I don't like move-ins. And if I'm going to take a move-in, I'm going to double or triple the price. And that was my mindset then. That was way before I came into grow my cleaning company. If it was college students, I was doubling the price too as well. So that way I couldn't take, so I was putting myself in that mindset so that way I could shift, so that way I can actually focus on doing weekly and biweekly reoccurring, which is all I do now. So I don't have any monthly clients. It's only weekly, biweekly currently.
Awesome. And has that helped how has it helped your business specifically? Because I know there's a lot of, I know because we coach from the inside, but I'd love to hear it from you for everyone out there in Clean Nation. Like when you made this decision, you stayed focused, you stopped doing the move in, move outs and all, or just taking business, whatever just came. What's the benefits that you've experienced from doing that inside the business? What has it enabled you to do?
So I'm always going to look at things from a mental perspective first. So for me, the first thing I remember was Mike's introduction video of the program. And he said the first thing was a mindset shift. And one of the main things he said was, it's not what you need to be, is who you need to be in order to get it accomplished.
Yes.
So looking at it that way, I was able to then shift to weekly and bi-weekly immediately. These things took place as soon as possible. I didn't wait, a week, 2 weeks. I put into action as soon as possible. And it has, and to believe it or not, is the weirdest thing ever, because you think that you're going to lose income, and then you notice that you either come out even, you break even, or you're just above the mark. And that's with canceling commercial and getting rid of the monthly and the other customers that you don't need.
Absolutely. And from our experience with everyone that we work with, it stabilizes your income also. So you don't have these wild roller coaster, like, hey, we have this big, huge month because we had a bunch of move-ins and whatever. It stabilizes your income. And that really enables you to grow and scale at a steadier pace than the volatility of being all over the board, right?
Very true.
So
Very true.
I'd love to hear from you what you think, since you've been in this for a couple of years. And we know we have a lot of people out there in Clean Nation listening right now that are either brand new or, you know, been in this a couple of years. But I'd love to hear what your thought is on one of the biggest myths or misunderstandings, things that maybe you once believed or you were told that you just know now are not true.
Well, that's a good one.
There's probably
myths
so many.
yeah, there's so many. But if it was one that I would cling to the most, it would be, man, that's difficult because I had a whole bunch of them.
I know. I'm asking you to narrow it down to one. It's so hard because there's so many mistakes.
Yeah. To stop thinking for your customer. What I mean by that is we believe that a customer or client, if we give them a certain type of service or a price based on the service that we provide them, that they're going to decline us, which is never true. These are just misconceptions that we put in our mind. And what I noticed is when I started applying that principle and taking that away, I was able to qualify better clients, offer a better service, and really niche them way better, and not have the fear of getting declined based on something that you know that is not true, but also that the customer is not even thinking. So just taking your mindset out of the client's mind is a big misconception.
So what I heard you say, just so important. And if you notice, everyone out there in Clean Nation listening right now, how many times Quentin has talked about mindset. And I happen to be the mindset coach for our next level people in our Millionaire Mastermind members. So mindset, of course, is at the core and foundation of everything. And what I heard you say here, Quentin, is don't project. Don't start thinking that you already know what clients are going to say or how they're going to feel or how they're going to react when you haven't even started. And this, I think, really, Quentin, prevents a lot of business owners out there from pricing properly, from giving the right bids through, they automatically assume, my price is going to be too high, or they're not going to accept that. So then what do? They play small. And that can be a real disease, a disorder in your business if you're constantly assuming that the client is going to say no before you've even started. So that's really, really important. Great advice.
Yeah, it's very important because if you are in the cleaning business and you're offering a cleaning service and because there's so much competition out there, and in order for you to stand out, you do have to be that authentic person first to give them 100% of you. If you're not, you're gonna sell yourself short.
That's so true. And it's interesting. I think a lot of us don't necessarily think of it as fear, but at its base, it's fear. And so we project to try to protect ourselves or try to not put ourselves too far out there and all that. We call that monkey mind in our circles. We call that monkey mind. So speaking of monkey mind, Quentin, I'm going to ask you a little more personal question now. What do you feel, since you've come into our world and worked with us here in Grow My Cleaning Company, what do you feel has been the most challenging thing that you've had to shift or change, or something new that you've had to do? What's been the most challenging for you?
Most challenging would be procrastination. Perfection and procrastination, those both, like you said, are cousins. They're related. So when you combine them together, it's just very ugly. So I would say that would be the biggest thing I had to hurdle, because I've lived with that for my whole entire life. And just being able to just let it go, and letting a crappy 1.0 or just a crappy version show its face. It's not really that bad once you see the beginning product, because after all, you do have to start somewhere.
Right.
And then you have to work out the kinks or the things that you don't like later on. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's what a service is. That's how you provide a service to the market. You get feedback, and then you approve on that feedback. And that's how you become a great cleaning service, or any type of service.
That's so true. Oh my gosh, Clean Nation. If you didn't tune into that, I want to say it again. This is so important, Quentin, what you just said. Perfection and procrastination, which are cousins, that will paralyze you. It'll paralyze your growth. It'll paralyze you from taking that 1.0 version. There's always going to be a 1.0. The thing I think that we tell ourselves, the monkey mind tries to tell us, is that 1.0 has to be pretty close to perfect. And unless it's perfect, we're not going to put it out there. And that's when it turns into procrastination. That's why we just sit there and we go, well, I need to plan more. I need to work out all the. Perfection has no place anywhere in your business, because honestly, it's never going to be perfect. You're always going to be iterating and leveling up, right? So I think what I've seen for working with you, Quentin, is your willingness to lean in and say, this is, whatever the crappy 1.0 version is, it's not a reflection of your quality. It's not a reflection of who you are as a business owner. It's your willingness to say, you know what, faster, going to market faster, getting in action faster is always better than spinning your wheels, sitting there contemplating, right?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, maybe you can share one thing recently that you have done that's new, something you've adopted, a strategy, and it could be anything in your business. You get to pick that you've done that you're excited about and that you took action on.
So I made a concerted effort for the whole last month to put 100% of my authentic self inside the company, and actually sit down and accomplish goals and be focused, and not have the procrastination to do it, has helped out tremendously. I've gotten so much done in the past month, and I can see this month just getting this knocked down as we talk right now. But it's helped me focus on and be truly authentic. And I've been, just tuning in anywhere I can. So wherever there's information about Grow My Cleaning Company and things to improve me and my company, I'm always there. Even if I don't have any type of input, because there's always something that you can learn. So I did that the whole last month, pretty much.
And what's been the outcome from that focus and attention and intention?
Growth. So out of that focus, I was able to one of the biggest pitfalls for me was to track leads and have things in all one place in one hub. So I was able to get insight from other people in Grow My Cleaning Company, and also get information from elsewhere and try to put something together to track my leads.
Yes.
And being laser focused helped me to get Pipeline Pro up in less than a week and have it moving and rolling. And I'm able to sufficiently understand how the system works and get it done.
And I know from experience working with you to just expand on what you just said, is Pipeline Pro is a software that we're using inside in Grow My Cleaning Company with all the company owners. But it's how you're using it and where you're using it in the company to grow. And the two major areas are in your hiring funnel, which is something you've really grown in. I know that from working with you, that having a functional hiring funnel is so big right now. It's a big challenge for a lot of owners out there. And also in your new marketing campaigns and putting automation through advertising and having funnels so that you have a steady flow of leads to track, right? You're talking about tracking those leads, but having a system for those two things. So you absolutely have done amazing work in this last month, Quentin, grown a lot. But I think for Clean Nation, the key here is, right, mindset again. It's focus. It's staying committed and showing up and getting the right support. We can all sit here and trial and error ourselves to death, but it sure does help when you got people that you go, hey, you know what? How did you do it? To go like, I think I'll just compress some time and go straight to, yes, a crappy, let's put it this way, a little less crappy 1.0 version.
Right,
and then
right.
The much better 2.0 and 3.0. Awesome. So I want to ask you one last question before we wrap up here today. If you had to give one piece of advice for Clean Nation, it could be anything about any topic. It could be a book you've read. It could be, some tip. What would that be?
What would that be? I could say so much right now, but I'm going to say one. If you say that you're going to commit to something, go all in. Because very few times do we actually take action on what we say. So be a doer and not just a hearer, right? So we want to be able to act on what we say and go 100% on it and stand on it.
Yes.
All the way through.
Oh man, that is a mic drop, except mine's too expensive, so I'm not going to drop it. That's okay. That is a mic drop right there, everybody. If you get nothing else, but for that one thing from this podcast today, oh my gosh, be committed with your actions. What you say, isn't really all that meaningful unless it's backed up by committed action. And you're so right, Quentin. We are all at some point guilty of learning things and knowing them. We've all said it, right? Oh, I know that. But if you aren't doing that, then the gap between what you know and what you say, right, and what you're doing is the Grand Canyon that you will fall into. And that's where all your dreams and hopes and visions and goals go to die in the gap. So mind the gap. It was funny. You were reading my mind, Quentin. I was going to talk about that today on our call later today. So mind the gap, everybody. And you know what? I'm just going to say, Clean Nation, if you are ready to close said gap and get more support, compress some time, have somebody who can absolutely help you, reach out to us. We're here. All you have to do really is go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk and book a call with one of our amazing coaches, just like Quentin did when he first came into our world. And who knows, maybe this is your time. We'd love for that to be true. So, all right. So Quentin, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you, and we will see everyone on the other side.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me. But like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. That's 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.